Okay, character introduction, rough draft 1. My name is Matt. I'm in an unfamiliar environment. Been served mango wheat, not sure what they intend for me. I'm being held here by 3 engineers.
I drive a rotary.
We're apparently... I do drive a rotary, so it's counterproductive. We are in a place of production. We're at RDE. Currently lack of production, but we're working on that.
Yeah. All right. What are we doing today?
That is the intro. Done.
What are we doing today, Robert?
We're finishing this darn table. That's what we're doing. We're finishing the Crossfire Pro. We've had it we pre-ordered it in October. We've had it since then. We got it in February. It's time to get something going. So we better be cutting today.
You're a little bit frame left, but that's because the computer's in the image. Is the computer a character in this rundown?
It is.
Okay.
It's my frame. So we're getting ready to assemble the Z-axis portion of the new Crossfire Pro. The previous one, you just had a manual adjustment of the torch height using shims for whatever the thickness of your material was. For this one, though, it's got automatic torch height, which is really helpful if you have curved pieces of metal, corrugated steel, things like that. It will actually follow the profile as it travels over. So we're getting ready to assemble that. We're not going to go through any type of walkthroughs on this video. Langmuir has a really good YouTube series on how to assemble this. So we're pretty much just going to throw everything together and then let you know what we think about it afterwards.
Alright, so what the guys are working on right now is these right here. You have an X-axis motor mount and a lead screw bearing mount. And what are we finding out about them right now, Sean?
So actually what we got to do is there's several lead screw bearing mounts. There's 2 different ones, and as luck would have it, there's 3 different ones, and so we had a 33% chance to pick the right one, and we got the wrong one. So I got to switch it back out to the right height. Make sure it lines up with that side.
If we could go back in time, what are we realizing about the holes in this bar?
So the holes in the bar are actually offset. So if you look at the different parts, no, that's not right.
You notice these two, not perfectly spaced, a little high on the bar.
No, that's, I don't know. These are all the same. So that's why we ended up picking them.
So Robert's working on putting a shelf underneath this, which I think he's already talked about.
Yep.
But right now he's sizing the shelf, which is another very important task.
Yep.
Because I bought the biggest tank I could find. Because if it's not the biggest, it's not the best.
Oh. Yep. Yep. Hold that. Okay. 3 inches up. Got it. Next. Okay, what this is going to be is a small table to go underneath the plasma table. We're going to cover it with expanded metal, That way it'll house maybe the driver, if we take it off our cart, not sure about that. The water tank setup, sealed system, so we can just easily pump water up into the table, let it back down, and then store any other miscellaneous tools underneath. So I'm gonna get this tacked up and then we'll fit it up. I'm gonna attach it to the frame just with an angle. That way we don't have to weld to the table in case we ever want to take it apart. So let's get to it.
All right, what are you building here?
Use these
and I don't sleep.
to go on the inside of the table like this. And I will set the shelf on that. Oh. Shout out to a guy on Instagram that I got his idea from.
Here's the nuts.
So this is just extra storage you're
It
making
says
over here?
to barely seat them.
No. So that plasma uses the water table and we have to pump water in this every time.
Okay.
So I've got this tank that sits underneath and we put compressed air in it, fills up the water, and then drains back to the tank.
Okay. So those brackets.
We'll hold that table.
That was our original idea. We thought all about that ourselves.
Shout out to another guy on Instagram that we got that idea from too. So we've got the table done. We're going to set it on these tabs. There we go. Fits nice. And what I did on the tabs is I just drilled through a bolt, attached it to the leg, and then I will simply tack weld this table down. This will house the water table, anything else we want to store here, give us some extra room in the shop, which we need. B-roll, go! That'll work.
Turn this off so we don't
Kill the battery.
kill the battery.
Was this our Home Depot trip?
Yes.
Gonna get some plumbing hooked up.
Busiest store in Blunt County right now.
Roll King solves all.
But now we are headed to Lowe's to pick up one piece. We did find everything we needed at Roll King and got back to the shop. Dean and Sean are making progress and we left them again to make some more progress. So hopefully they'll make some more progress while we're gone and maybe it'll be close to being done when we get back. Though I highly doubt it.
Yeah, that's the awesome part. We forget a fitting and we drop off the bag of fittings for them to install while we make another run.
Alright, so the Langmuir table comes with these little adjustable feet so you can adjust each corner individually for uneven surfaces. But they don't roll. And since we're operating in a tight shop, we need to be able to move stuff in and out as we are working with it. So what we're going to do is we took the feet apart, we're going to grind the paint off them and tack weld them to these casters to make the table more mobile.
Unfortunately, our water table comes dented. And I don't know if this is a FedEx, UPS, whatever thing, but obviously it was not shipped this way. So I'm just gonna bang it out.
Fix it.
There we go.
All right, so we got the casters on and pretty much everything assembled. We're kind of getting close to the end here, so we're going to start on the water table. One of the big things that I'm not a huge fan of for this unit is they are nice enough to send you the RTV silicone sealant, but I much would have preferred like a rubber gasket or something else that doesn't require smearing this all over the place.
To hold the two tables together, you got a set of 10 socket head cap screws with some self-locking nylon nuts. The socket head cap screws are 9/64 and the nuts are 11/32, so we went ahead and pre-assembled 10 of them so we can just drop them in the slots instead of sitting there trying to fumble with them once they're all covered in silicone and RTV.
Another thing is they say that the corners aren't, you know, the corners are nice and welded together, but they do recommend you smear some of the silicone sealant in each corner. I mean, the welds look halfway decent, but it's a little concerning to me that they recommend that you do that. So we'll go ahead and get this smeared on and assembled and move on to the next step. Assembled the water table, pulled it together with the screws and the nuts, got everything located, used the self-tapping screws to attach it to the table itself. Then we went in and trimmed the Z-axis so that it's square to the slats in the water table. And so now we're adding the stepper motor holders and the bearing carriers for the lead screws. And I'm going to go in and start adding these locking mechanisms for the lead screws. All right, two things to note here. We're starting to put the lead nuts on the Y-axis, and as we started to assemble the X-axis, we found that even though we're definitely using the right bolts and washers, the washers barely fit. You actually kind of have to offset them because there's a little lip on this that if you just tighten it down, it will actually make the bolt crooked. And then the other thing is, even though there's slop and the Y-axis lead nuts, for the X-axis one there's not at all. In fact, I actually had to take the Allen key and kind of help it to get through the lead nut itself. So fits a little bit janky on that. Not super happy with it, but at the end of the day it does make it through, it does line up, it does work. So if you feel like that doesn't fit or if you're having issues with that, take a look at that, make sure your washers are offset, and you might just have to help the bolt through.
me drink my white people's water, the Croy.
You're the only one consuming.
The white people's water.
It's really good. I'm half white, by the way. My
It's
half
a-
side
it's
is
a-
really good.
When do we come back and tighten these, by the way?
After you jog it. So I guess you jog.
After you jog it, you jog those?
Dude, I thought the same thing when I read it.
Yeah, you gotta let all this stuff steep. We
You
did
gotta-
the same thing with the other one.
You
Though.
got to jog it full in both directions, and then you put it back in the middle and tighten it down.
Right.
So
I don't question the instructions; I just follow them.
here we go. Tables together. We're tired. Much better built than the other one. We've got the water table set up underneath the tank. Looking forward to that. We still have, what is it left? The torch height controller?
Yeah, still got to install the chip and the control module for the torch height control, and rewire the hypertherm so that it can actually use the torch height control.
But we could run it right now. So we will probably get it functional and run it and then come back and do torch height control because it still touches off. What else? It's big. It is a lot bigger than the other one. Being in a small shop like this, we're finding we're running out of room.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, everything's adjusted. We just pretty much got to jog it, tighten some things down.
Yeah.
All the wires are ran. I mean,
We're just talking at this point. On that note, we're done.